So you've got an old MacBook Air that you still love, but man, is it slow. You find yourself just waiting and waiting. Well, let's talk about how to breathe some serious new life into a classic 2014 machine with one simple, super powerful upgrade.
I mean, that's the big question, right? It almost sounds a little too good to be true. But what if one single component swap could totally transform your computer's performance? Let's dive in and find out.
The magic trick we're talking about here is swapping out the solid-state drive, the SSD. You can think of it as the heart of your computer's speed and storage, and upgrading it, it's probably one of the most impactful changes you could ever make. Look, the main point here isn't that your Mac is obsolete. It's just being held back, bottlenecked by its original storage. When you swap in a new SSD, you're not just getting more space for your files. You're getting a massive boost in how fast it can read and write data. That means everything from faster boot ups to apps that load in a snap. Okay, but hold on. Before you even think about picking up a screwdriver, the most important work happens right now with the software. Seriously, getting this prep work right is the absolute key to making sure this whole upgrade goes smoothly. There are 3 steps here, and you just can't skip them. First, back up everything. I mean it. Use Time Machine, drag files to an external drive, whatever. Just make sure your data is safe. Second, you're going to want to create a bootable USB drive that has a macOS installer on it. And third, and this is the one that trips so many people up, your Mac has to be updated to at least macOS High Sierra before you swap the drive. The newer SSDs, they need firmware that was only introduced in that version of the OS. Now for a classic Apple gotcha you need to know about. You can't just go out and buy any standard SSD off the shelf. Nope, this specific MacBook Air uses a unique, proprietary connector. So what does that mean for you? It means you either need to find a drive made specifically for this model, or you'll need an adapter. Knowing this one little fact up front will save you a world of pain. Okay, with our software prep totally done, it's time to actually open up the machine. The physical part of this whole thing is surprisingly straightforward, and we can really break it down into just a few key moves. You are going to need one specialized tool, and this is it, a P5 pentalobe screwdriver. You know, those little star-shaped screws Apple loves to use? Well, this is the key. But don't worry, they're super easy to find online, and having the right tool makes all the difference between frustration and success. And here's a little pro tip for when you're putting it all back together. See, there are 2 different lengths of screws on the bottom case. The 2 longer ones, the 9mm ones, they go right near the hinge. The other 8 shorter screws go everywhere else. Just remember that, and you will thank me later. The core procedure is actually pretty simple. Once you get that case off, the very first thing you do, for safety, is disconnect the battery. It's so important to pull the little plastic tab parallel to the board. Don't lift it straight up. After that, it's just one screw holding the old SSD in place. Slide the new one in, and you're basically ready to put it all back together. Now, here's a super crucial detail for the actual swap. When you go to remove that old SSD, you only need to lift it just a tiny bit, like ½ an inch is plenty to get it out. If you lift it too high, you risk damaging the drive or, way worse, the socket on the main board. Gentle is the name of the game here. So that's the technical side. But now let's get some real-world advice. One of the best things about a project like this is that there's a whole community of people who have already done it and shared what they learned. Take Jesse Collis, for example. He pretty much confirms our theory. He says, once you have the right tools, it's a straightforward job that took him less than 10 minutes. That should give you a ton of confidence that this is totally doable. And what about finding one of those special proprietary drives we mentioned? Well, Rick Hendricks has a great tip. Check out eBay. You can often find original Apple SSDs that have been pulled from other MacBooks. It's a fantastic way to get a part you know is going to be compatible. And finally, we have some funny but absolutely vital advice from Phil. You do the whole procedure, you put all the screws back in, you close it up, and it won't turn on. Why? Because you forgot to reconnect the battery. Trust me, we've all been there, Phil. Thanks for the reminder. So, let's bring this all together. We've gone over the preparation, the process itself, and some of the common pitfalls. What's the big picture here? What should you really take away from all this? Well, if you're wondering if you're alone in trying this, just take a look at this number. That's how many people have viewed the Ifixit guide that this whole explainer is based on. Yeah. Nearly 300,000 people have gone on this exact same journey to speed up their old Mac. And this is really what it all boils down to. It's not about being some kind of tech genius. It's just about being prepared and being careful. If you can do that, you can genuinely make an old, beloved computer feel brand new again. You'll save yourself a lot of money and a ton of frustration. You know, a simple repair like this really makes you think, doesn't it? It proves that so much of the tech we call obsolete isn't really broken at all. It might just need one small part to get a whole second chance at life. It really makes you wonder, what else do you have lying around that's just one simple fix away from being useful again?